a place called Pyrrhus, Pyrrhus, dealing with the first writer of Europe, a man called Homer, in his Odyssey stated, even the gods Zeus and Apollo came from Ethiopia. So we don't have to think that we have to now write because nobody knows about us. And we need to tell people about us. That is untrue. Even the concept of a God. There is no record of any other people on the face of the earth other than the people of the Nile that started the concept of a God, a deity. Akhenaten spoke, Amenhotep IV, otherwise called Akhenaten, spoke of the God Aten, A-T-E-N, before there was a Jehovah, Jesus, or Allah. Akhenaten was writing in that. Before an African, if in fact there was a Moses, there's no record in Egypt about Moses, whether you sing go down or go up Moses. No record whatsoever, a strictly Jewish propaganda. No, we got to deal with the thing now, let's get it down front. There is not a single prime minister that's been in Egyptian history by the name of Potiphar. No record of anyone in Egyptian government by the name of Joseph. Part of Jewish folklore. And of course, not a single Jew was alive. That will get you in trouble for inviting me. Not a single Jew was alive when the last pyramid was built, much less the first pyramid. Abraham, the first of the Jews, and by the way, I may not look Jewish, but I'm much Jewish as Scotch. They say when your mama Jewish and your daddy Jewish, you ultra Jewish. They call me Falasha. I'm not a Falasha. I'm better Israel. But Moses, it said, was supposed to have been born in the city of Goshen in Egypt. Went to school in Egypt. They said in the Bible, he was learned in the ways of the Egyptians. Of course, Egypt is in the Middle East. I want to know east of what? I thought, and you must forgive me being an African, we don't think good unless the missionaries baptize us. And since I wasn't baptized, I'm not subject to think right in the rest of my life. I thought that everyone who went to school in Egypt, before Moses and subsequent to Moses, if in fact he did live, were learned in the ways of the Africans of that time. The papyrus of Hunefa of the Book of the Dead said, we came from the beginning of the Nile, where God happy dwells, at the foothill of the mountain of the moon. The Egyptians couldn't be more specific. They said, what? Beginning of the Nile, the Blue Nile is in Ethiopia, the White Nile is in Uganda. At the foothills of the mountain of the moon, Kilimanjaro means mountain of the moon, and Rwenzori means mountain and moon. That means Kilimanjaro between Kenya and Tanganyika, and Rwenzori in Uganda. So the Central East Africa being the place where the Egyptians said that they came from. We have to look and examine our history from another perspective. The slave boats, and I wonder if I should call them that, the boats that brought Africans to these shores and then enslaved them. They didn't catch slaves and brought them. They caught free African people, brought them and placed them in slavery. Quite a different thing. They call it semantics. And for those of you who may not understand that those Africans were all at least cousins like you are, the African cousins in Barbados being cousin to those at Mississippi, who are cousin to those in Panama, which Colin, what's the fellow there, the colored joint of staff, Powell, doesn't understand it, you need to check with his own granddad from Jamaica to know that he is also cousin to those in Ghana. And those of us at Virginia blue blood blacks of the Jefferson Farm need to know that we are cousin to all black people. That the slave boat did not bring West Indians, Georgians and Mississippians. They bring pure old black folk, otherwise called African. I know many of you got problems with that when you look at the mirror, especially when you got a coat of Miss Clear all on your face.